Hey, welcome back everybody. Hope everyone's doing all right. We have another tutorial here. This is our HTML and CSS. In our previous lesson, we learned how to do internal embedded CSS, and we created this very document. So in class, you're going to need to use the same lesson you did before. If you didn't do it, you'll have to go back and watch that and then get that finished because we need it for this one here. And we learned how we can style our pages just by adding a style section in the top of our head section of our web page. But what happens if you have more than one web page? It kind of defeats the purpose to have a convenient location to style things if you have to change it on multiple pages. So here's one way called external embedded CSS that we're going to be able to use to fix that. So to begin with, we'll go ahead and create a new folder in our web1 folder, and in here we can call this ext embed. So we have an int embed and an ext embed, and then I have my old file open like I was telling you just a second ago. Then I'll go file and save as, and I will go find this web1 projects folder and then find my ext embed folder and select hypertext markup language. And then I will call this index.html and save. So now when I look up here where this is saved, I can see that, all right, this is in my external embedded. I made a copy of it so I don't have to worry about messing anything up on my other file. This is a completely different page in a completely different folder. They just look the exact same. So to begin with, we can change the title here to external embedded CSS, and how to style in one location for multiple pages. We'll have that be our description right there. And then what we want to do next is we want to clear this out. I'm actually going to select all of this inside that style area and Control X to cut it, so it's on my clipboard. And then this style heading, I don't even really need that anymore either. Alright, now what I do need is I need to put in a new line of code here at the top, and this is going to be how this web page can communicate and get the information from my styles where I'm going to save it. So we'll go ahead and we'll code for it first, and we'll put in here link space href, and then we'll go equals quotation marks, and the name of the file that we're going to create is styles.css, because that's what I always call my styles. Just like I always call my homepage index.html, my main default styles is going to be called styles.css. And then after that, I'm going to go rel equals quotation marks style sheet, and then I will go type equals quotation marks, and I'll go text slash CSS. Alright, so the home page is all finished for this. We have that part done. Then what I'm going to do up here is I'm actually going to go up and go File, New, and I'm going to paste my information from my styles that I had before, so that I can keep that handy. And then I will click New again, and I can just kind of slide these tabs over. I'll put the second new one to the left of my index, and what I'll do is I'll copy my index information, and then I'm going to paste it in here. And a few things for this, I'm going to change just a couple of items, like the title on here. Instead of external embedded CSS, I'll change the title of this one to news. And the reason why I got that was because down here in my links area, Like our first page was index.html, the second page is news, so that's what I'm calling that therefore. Then the other thing I need to do is I actually need to copy this class is equal to active, because this page isn't the index. So I'm going to cut that. I'm going to go in here to the news section, and I'm going to paste active in there. I also might just change the H1 in here so that it doesn't say home page. I might just type in news in that section also. Okay, so we'll save this, and just like we've done with the other ones, we will go to our external embed folder, and then we want to select hypertext markup language, and then this one, because we called this page news.html and our hyperlinks down there, so it makes sense we would just name it the same. So news.html, and then we'll click save. And then when we do that, it recolorifies our code so that it looks the way that it's supposed to. So we have index done, and we have news done. All right, then we can select all of that, and then we can add another new one, and I'll just bring it over here and I'll paste this in here. And so if this one was, the last one was for news, so this one's going to be about. So up here at the title, I'll type in about, and then for the H1 I'll type in about, and then down here in my hyperlink area we'll cut that link out, or that active class, and we'll put it down here into the about section. And then we'll go to our save as, and then we'll find our external embedded folder, and then this one we will call, make sure we go to our hypertext markup language, and then about.html. Right, and when we click save, everything lights up, so we're good. And then finally we just have one more link that we need to do. So we can go up here and add one more new file, and then we'll copy everything from here, and then we'll paste it. And this one is called contact, so up here instead of about we'll type in contact, and then the H1 will switch to contact, and down here we'll take our class is equal to active, we'll cut that out of there, and then we'll go in here to the A link, and we'll paste it in there. Should be good with that. Then we'll go up here to file save as, and then our external embedded, and this one we will call contact, trying to go all lowercase here, contact.html. So all one word, all lowercase for those pages, and we'll save this. And now let's check our page to see how we're looking so far. So we'll find our ext embed, and we'll just open up this one. So here's our home page. When we click on news, we have news. When we click on about, it takes us to about. When we click to contact, it takes us to contact. So really, when you're setting up your web pages, like the whole pages aren't going to be duplicated each time. You all know that. But you know, once you have your header done, and once you have your nav menu done, that part and the footer, that is going to stay the same on every single page. So really, all you're doing is you're just replacing the stuff in between. But we want to make all this stuff look awesome, like how it looks when we made our internal embedded document. So how do we do this all in one place? Okay, well, we already did the link href styles.css. We already added that on there, and that's on all of the pages. So then what we can do is in this document, we are going to create what's called our CSS document. Now, at the top of these CSS documents, there's different ways that you can do this, but what I like to do is I'll put in a slash and a star, and then a star and a slash. Okay, and then in here I'm going to type in style sheet for external embedded CSS demo by, there we go, and then I usually put something like that in there. This is also just like we did with our HTML. We used this in our last section. Like, this is how you put in a comment, and it helps with the coding aspect. It doesn't show up on the page, but when I go back in, it's like, why did I have this class active? And then I left a note for me to remember. So here in our CSS, we can do the same thing. So any of these things that we label, it's a common thing where you'll see a comment put by each of these sections. So one of them might say, this is for the nav menu, this is for the hero element of our header, however you want to do that. But for right now, we'll just use it to give a heading to let people know online, if they look at the code, that we put this together and all that. All right, so we have that on there, and this is all we really have to do for the style sheet. There's no style angle brackets. You type it exactly the same way in here as we did in the style section of the head area of our HTML document. You just define it, and then you put it in here. You define it, and then you give your characteristic and your attributes and all that, and it styles the exact same way. So now we're ready to save this thing, and we'll go File, Save As, and we'll find our external embedded document. This will go in the same folder where each of these pages is located. All right, so it's just right in there with it. And then for the drop down menu, this time we want to find where it says Cascade Style Sheet File. So we're going to click that, and in our little code we said we wanted it to look for a file called styles.css. So in here we'll go styles.css, and then we'll click save. Everything lights up on there, and now to see how it looks, we'll click refresh, and here's our page. We're on the contact page, and because on the contact page the contact link is active, that one's lit up. On the about page, our about link was active, so it lights up right there. On the news, that one lights up, and home, that one lights up. And all of the pages look consistent. They all have the same font sizes, they all have the same colors and layout and everything else, and that's how you want your web pages to be. So from this point out in this course, we are not going to be styling in the HTML. Sometimes there are some exceptions, but for 99.9% of the time, you should now be doing all of your styling in a separate styles.css document that is located in the same folder. Let me know if you have any questions on it. Again, this is like really a great way to do web pages, and it's kind of fun to then develop your style sheets for different sites and to keep those saved. And it's just fun to see that page magically change before your eyes just by changing it all in one location and having it applied to the entire site. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you watching, and let me know if you have questions, and we'll talk to you another time.